Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome to this live reading session. So, I'm a little bit early. I was supposed to come on at about 6, so about 30 minutes time, but wanted to come on early. And yeah, so basically, we're going to be doing some live readings today, mini readings. And if you're interested in being a part of this session, just follow the instructions below. Okay. Um, so the way you book is by you send the $25, it's $25 per reading, to my PayPal. The link is down below, and then I'll need your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth. Now, we do have someone who has booked in. Now, with that being said, for Ryan, so Ryan has booked in. I understand that I'm a little bit earlier than I said I would be. So I may, unless Ryan is in the audience, of course, I can go ahead, but I may just give it a little bit of time and maybe wait until about 6 p.m. to do Ryan's reading. And I do want to just say hello to Elmer. Welcome, the Universal Humanitarian, and also welcome to PS Astrology channel. Yeah, welcome. Good to have you. And as I say, if you're interested in booking, you can find the instructions in the description box. And again, I'm just going to say, if Ryan is here, I can begin your reading, but I can also wait about 30 minutes or so for Ryan to attend. But I hope you are doing okay. I must say that I do apologize if I'm not the most energetic. Okay, I don't really feel like myself today. I don't. And I think a part of that is because my hearing isn't the best. I actually went to see the premiere of Dan to Dan, if anyone's seen that before. It's an anime series. And the volume in the cinema was so loud, and I think I think it really messed up my hearing. So it's a bit odd. It feels really weird. So yeah, that's why I'm probably not going to be the best today. I do apologize, but bear with me. And hello to HOJ. Hello. Hello to Lucy as well. Hi there, Lucy. You say hello from South Africa. Well, hello to you from Northern Ireland. Welcome. And again, like I said, if you're interested in booking a mini reading during this session, you can do so. The instructions are in the description box. Yeah, so we actually have Jupiter and Mercury conjunct today. And I did have a pretty unexpected encounter today, which was nice. And I felt like it definitely gave me a boost of confidence, which I feel is very Jupiter. Oh, Ryan, you're here. Amazing. So I got everything sorted from you. So thank you so much. And I have your chart here. I was just waiting for you to attend. I was going to wait until about 6 because I know that was the time that I originally said I would be here. So Ryan, I hope you're doing good. Let's take a look at your chart, shall we? Thank you so much as well for all of your support. I just want to say. Okay, let's see. Yeah, here we go. And I also just want to ask you, Ryan, do you have a question you would like to ask, or do you have a certain area you would like me to focus on? Just let me know. So outside of PayPal, basically what Ryan did is Ryan used the coffee link. So I also have in the description box the buy me a coffee. So you can maybe just do what Ryan did and just add it up to the equivalent of the amount. that would be a way. So just to answer, not sugar-coated show. And Ryan, you don't have a sort of question or anything. That's grand. So, okay, I'm going to begin then, and I'm going to read your chart. And I just want to say again that these are mini readings, everybody. If you would like a full reading with me, if you want to book a full session with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Thank you so, so much. All right. So, Ryan, let me just take a moment to look at your chart and we'll explore. Okay, so right off the bat, what I am getting from you here, Ryan, is that you are a very descriptive, detailed person. I see this as you really wanting to dig deep into certain systems and structures. Knowing how things function and operate is very important to you. Or it's even that these are the kinds of skills that you develop within your working life, right? When we think even about your profession. See, what we notice here is there is a lot happening in this ninth house area of higher education, advanced training. So furthering yourself. And with so much Scorpio there, of course, including the sun and Venus and Pluto, this can suggest that you are highly skilled, perhaps in security. Maybe it's that you work largely with technology, computers. Maybe engineering is a big part of your skills and your qualifications there. Investigation, research, science as well could be a part of this. And to also further add to this, with the moon being in the sign of Virgo, we see the services that you offer others, maybe working closely with clients, maybe seeking to help others, right, to show some kind of practical support. I even imagine you maybe helping people fix things, maybe fixing systems or working largely with technology, and then assisting people that way. Now, what's also significant, and we need to look at this as well, is how the North Node and Mars themselves, they are in the 10th house area. So as you can probably tell, I'm entering into your reading via more of your professional life, just because there's a lot going on above the horizon, right? In those houses 7 through 12. And 7 through 12 is really about our public, our public image and how we show up within the public. So yes, like I said, the North Node and Mars are in Sagittarius. So there is something here about perhaps travel being a part of your destiny in this life, or being a lecturer, being a mentor, a teacher, being a major leader within your field as well, within your chosen profession. Um, what's even coming through here is maybe working within the military, or law enforcement could be a thing there. Another thing could possibly be business. So business management, project management, things like that. Seeking freedom, I am getting from this. Maybe you pride yourself on your own independence and being able to do your own thing. And so this is a big part of your life's trajectory, okay? Now, what I further want to highlight is how Pisces is on the rising. So Pisces risings actually are very good with people. I've noticed in that you can be really good at empathizing with others, or mirroring them, or reflecting back at them what they maybe want to see. And so in this regard, I think you can have really great social skills. Now, of course, what's also important to keep in mind here is how much you absorb as well, right? So for instance, it could be a case of you taking on other people's energy throughout the day. And then, so in this regard, it's important for you to let's just put it this way, to let go, to release at the end of each day. Okay. Um, what's also coming through here actually is to further add the North Node. So I'm just looking at your transits as well. Yeah, the North Node is, uh, yeah, it's right on your ascendant right now. So, what does this suggest? I think this suggests some kind of new chapter for you, a new fine way of showing up in the world and maybe aligning more strongly with your spiritual values and your beliefs. And when we circle this back to all of the Scorpio happening in the ninth house, I do see this as you being a very dedicated person to your beliefs, to your morals, right? Following your moral compass and your principles. So, this I feel can indicate a time of change, significant change, perhaps related to your beliefs and how your beliefs actually direct your life. They support your life. Yeah, maybe in this regard, a few interesting changes will come up about it could be about clients, relationships, a new job, a new role, a new position. What's also coming through is the fact that the full moon is going to happen very soon in Sagittarius. So it's going to occur on the 11th of June. 11th, 12th of June, I think, depending on where you are in the world. But anyway, basically, that full moon will happen in your 10th house arena. So to think about possibly a release, a letting go, the ending of a chapter when it comes to your professional life. And then I'm also thinking about, hmm, I'm thinking about fun, entertainment, time off, vacations, holidays, needing time to yourself. Because interestingly, what's going to happen is Jupiter will enter Cancer, so will transit your fifth house over the next year. So Jupiter will enter Cancer on the 9th of June. So therefore, expect to see perhaps some kind of expansion and growth related to your creativity, your hobbies, forms of enjoyment, maybe some family time. Self care could be a big area of importance too. Okay, let me also just explore some more. I want to go back here a moment to your progression. So I'm actually looking at a couple of different charts whilst I'm doing this. Okay, so I also further want to add that Jupiter, which is one of your rulers, Jupiter is located in Libra there in the 8th house. So I see this as a big key area of focus for you in this life, being very much tied to relationships and the undercurrents, the hidden facets within your relationships. And then when we further add in the fact that Chiron and the moon are located in the 7th house of relationships, I am curious about the quality and the substance of your partnerships and the challenges that you have faced throughout your life, possibly. And to further add to this, we see that Chiron is making, I would consider this, but is making a bit of a T-square to the nodes. So as you do follow this professional path, this career path of yours, which could involve leadership, independence, it could involve travel, you being free, so to speak, free to do what you want in a way. Well, Chiron here in this square position could indicate that relationships seem to be a bit of a soft spot or a sensitive area for you. And maybe you have often found it to be challenging to maybe connect or relate on a deeper level. But yet, when we bring it back to Jupiter in the 8th house, I think that is essentially what you crave. I mean, even Jupiter is conjunct Venus in Scorpio. So there is an intensity, there is a depth to your desires, to your love. And what I'm also picking up on here, and I'll not spend too long on this, but I'm also picking up here on the blockages and the repressions linked to that of your beliefs. So, what I imagine here is you coming up against certain members, religious figures, possibly members of authority, who were quite domineering. I'm thinking about the programming and the conditioning that you received growing up. I'm thinking about strong, harsh religious values. I'm thinking about your program, your belief programming basically, and how those things are happening, in the subconscious, and how they often can impact or dictate how it is that you show up within your relationships. So maybe this is where some shadow work is to be done and performed, right? So to think about inner work. Now, in this way, maybe you have, of course, already done a lot of inner work, but then I'm also picking up on the fact that Pluto right now is making a square to Venus and Mercury in your chart. So, this I feel could indicate some significant spiritual changes, right? Subconscious reprogramming. This could be about even exploring your dreams, exploring your fantasies, your deepest, darkest desires. This could even be about liberation, right? To free yourself from a particular, sexual issue or concern. Because I think what I think that you do crave intimacy, and I think that you crave that closeness and to be like really open and vulnerable, but it's a matter of who gets that from you, right? It's a matter of, well, the way I see it with Chiron, especially in Virgo, is people who are ultra critical, who hyperfixate on things, who want you to change or fix you, or it's like they can be very, very harsh with you. Equally, however, it could be a case of these sort of qualities coming out within your relationships, or you need to be mindful of how those qualities, how those attitudes can at times impact you and your life and your own well-being. Well, Ryan, that was your reading. I hope that was okay for you. And of course, these are mini readings. So if anyone is interested in, sorry, I just needed, how do I delete this again? If anyone is interested in booking a full session with me, you can do so. You can do so by going to hannahselsewhere.com. Let me just look at the comments a second. Hello to Yashar. Welcome to book. Okay, to book, you just go to the instructions below. Ryan, you said no real questions, just for fun. Okay, well, I hope, because I feel like I also went to some areas that I'm not sure maybe you didn't want to know or you weren't ready for. I do apologize. It's just, yeah. I always say I'm here to guide, and whatever comes through, it comes through, but I hope you find it to be helpful. And Laura, thank you so much for tuning in, Laura, and thank you for your support. You are very, very kind. Myra Leo, Myra Leo, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And that's brilliant. Amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in all of these years. I appreciate your support. Hi to Anne Schumann. And hi to Shetty. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Coach Michael, hi to you. I like your hat. Welcome. And Ranga, hello to you as well. Just to let you know, folks, also Caroline, hi. To let you know, to book, the instructions are below. But we do have someone else who has booked in. We have Anna. Okay, let me just take a look here. Thank you. Okay. Okay, great. I'm just going to put in your information, and whilst I'm doing that, I won't be able to look at the chat, everybody. So stay with me, bear with me. Excuse me. I always eat before live readings. I think I eat too fast. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm just double checking your information, Anna. All right, I just need to save your chart. Okay. Let's get annual perfections. Let me see. Second house. All right. Okay. All right, and let me see. A Barrage, welcome to you, and welcome to Ray Ray Lee Strange. Welcome. Hello. Okay. Anna. And then I'm just going to look at your question. Work, business, lean into the energies that can help you move forward. Okay. Work, business, lean into energies that can help you move forward. Okay. I just need to get my timing techniques. And whilst I'm actually doing the reading, I won't be able to look at the chat. Work, business, lean into the energies that can help Anna move forward. Okay. Second. All right. Oh, interesting. Work, business, lean into the energies that can help Anna move forward. Saturn, Mercury. Okay. What we're going to do first is we're going to think about current times for you, Anna. Significantly, what we see is that for the past year or so, there has been this stop and start kind of energy happening when it comes to your professional life, your public life, your relationships, business partnerships. because we've noticed this square influence occurring within those 7th, 10th houses for you. Now, here's the thing. Pluto entered your 6th house at the end of 2024, and maybe you have noticed over the past while, as Pluto starts to really come into that midheaven point for you, you have noticed that you've been called to rise when it comes to your routines, your daily habits. It's as if you're being forced to change something about how you show up on a day-to-day basis. And maybe such matters could be about something within yourself, right? So we could look at this as possibly self-sabotaging tendencies, self-destructive tendencies. Maybe you are being pushed in a way to step up, to refine your skills, or to improve. Now, with that being said, Uranus is going to enter Gemini in about a month's time. Now, it'll be there for just a few months, well, a few weeks, a number of weeks, basically over the summer about that time, right? So, what's coming up here for you over the summer and even into September time is that of this glimpse of a change of scenery. So this could very well manifest as something completely unpredictable, something that you didn't see, you cannot fathom, you can't really see it coming. It's hard to pin down. The unexpected could very well happen. So we think about the unexpected occurring when it comes to career advancement, when it comes to business deals, when it comes to, could even be some kind of raise, or it could be a case of greater recognition. It could be a whole new job, a whole new path that you take. Could even be a case of using technology to a large extent to help you get ahead or to help improve your life, your professional life. But all in all, this is about the profound changes that are really going to amplify and accelerate over the next coming months, but even more so, I would say, around this time next year. We're really going to see major impacts and changes for you. Now, here's the other thing about that. Interestingly, next year, of course, you'll be in the 3rd house year. So we see that actually Mercury, Pluto, and Mars are all in the 3rd house for you. So what can this suggest? I mean, this could suggest that your career life is really geared towards that of research, science, psychology. Could even be about working with large amounts of data or large amounts of money as well. It could be a case of investing, big investments essentially. And so, in this way, maybe this is where we're really going to see these major changes occur for you because of the fact that Mercury does rule the midheaven in your chart. So, yeah, I think that you are about to undergo you're already going through this, I think. You're undergoing this transformation related to that of, could be your literal career life, but this could also be a case of, maybe transport issues and concerns happening. It could be certain schedules that are not going to plan, and you're constantly having to adjust and you're having to adapt. But I guess you could say my guidance with this, to help guide you with this energy, is to try your very best to refine your skills, to focus on how you can improve and upskill and get ahead of things. Because here's the thing, With Uranus entering into Gemini, and we've already noticed this over the past few years, we are going to see a greater acceleration when it comes to technology, right? Digital media, the online world. So, the way I'm going to look at this is how can you perhaps use these technological advancements and these changes as a way to work for you rather than against you? I am thinking here about how you can learn new, really valuable skills. And perhaps a part of those skills will also involve the likes of teaching, right? It could be about teaching, it could be marketing, it could be advertising, writing, content creation could even be a part of this, of course. But basically, I'm really communicating these different rules because with Gemini there on the midheaven, I mean, this is very much this is very much about your public life being tied to technology and research and communication and being quite social and engaging, maybe even juggling a few different jobs at once. But when we bring it back to Mercury again, there's also something here about your focus. Even Mars is home in Scorpio, Pluto is home in Scorpio in the third house. My goodness. What I'm thinking about here is how your role, your position is tied to security. I'm thinking about cyber security here and a lot of having to look into information deeply and having to be very mindful about how information is delivered. Okay, so let me just think for another moment. I just want to reflect a little bit on your question again. So we've talked about the significant changes that will happen professionally speaking within your working life, those areas. We see those changes. And let me see. Okay, I'm going to finish off by communicating a couple more things. What we further notice is that Saturn and Neptune are right on your North Node. So the North Node itself is about our life's trajectory. It's about our life's mission, our soul's purpose. So your soul's purpose, to a large extent, is about leadership. It's about being this independent individual when it comes to matters that involve the likes of taxes, insurance, debts, repayments. Maybe this is even about your own psychological journey and all of the changes that are happening for you right now and have been happening, of course, because Chiron's been transiting your 8th house over the past number of years. So we've seen these transformations, these renewals tied to your independence. And so, therefore, with Saturn right now, there's something that's being redefined. Maybe this is about redefining what success means to you, maybe redefining what success means to you when it comes to your work or recognition from coworkers, maybe also questions about community and enterprise and where you fit in. These are the kinds of the questions and areas that are really coming through. And then at the same time, with Neptune involved, your intuition is being activated, but there's also a little bit of this I'm not sure. Is this meant for me? Should I be doing this long term? Oh, maybe I should go back to the drawing board and try again. These kinds of things are going around. But I think that the answers that you're looking for, they will, they'll come because it's a matter of allowing for these energies to move to an extent, I think. So, for example, with Jupiter is going to enter Cancer on the 9th of June, will be there for a year. And there is that square influence happening around this time. So it could be in one hand where you're trying to maybe see how you can grow and how you can expand within networks and groups and organizations and institutions and teams, right? You're all about those things. And maybe this is where we're going to see significant new blessings and gifts and things like that occur, right? We're going to see those gifts and blessings happen within those areas, as previously mentioned, right? We're going to see that. But it's just at this moment in time and over the next few weeks, maybe it is about just sitting down with yourself and trying to like guide with this energy. Um, maybe it's about trying to sit down with yourself and go over, right, what is the plan here? What do I want for my future? What does that look like? What is that vision, and how can you put in those practical steps? I know that's probably very like short, but it is a mini reading. And I do want to say, Anna, thank you very much for booking. If you want to book a full reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. There's always this part of me that just wants to go on and on and on, but I know that I can't and I have to stop at some point. But Anna, thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Okay, let's have a look. Let's see. There we go. All right. So we have someone else who has booked in. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we have Caroline. Brilliant. Thank you, Caroline. I'm just going to enter in your information and then we'll go from there. Hello to Jenny and hello to Stacy as well. So in order to book a reading for this session, you go to the instructions below. But thank you for tuning in. And thank you very much to Potato Person. I'm wondering, is that Anna that's with that name? But yeah, thank you. Okay, let's see. Let's see. If Caroline is in the audience, I just want to ask, with the time, is that AM? I'm assuming it is AM, but I just want to check. Yeah. Let me see. If Caroline is in the audience, let me see. Is this the place? Okay. Yeah, let me know. Is that AM? I'm assuming it is. Let me see. Is Caroline? Stacy. So Stacy, there is an alternative, which is what Ryan did earlier. So there is a buy me a coffee link. You can go to that one and you can book the reading that way. Actually, let me check my buy me a coffee link in case anything has came through. Oh, I should get that emailed to me anyway. So that's fine. It should be emailed to me. Okay. Yes, Caroline, thank you for confirming. Let's have a look. Uh-huh. Okay. Right, and then I'm getting some timing techniques. Let's see. Ninth. The ninth house. Okay. All right. Just checking I've got everything in place. Okay, brilliant. So money, health, and Uranus. Uranus is going to enter the 8th, yeah. Your Uranus in the 8th transit. Money, health. Just give me a moment so I can look over your chart. Mars. Mm-hmm. Money. All right. Let's begin. Caroline. What I want to do is I want to begin by exploring the fact that Venus is conjunct Neptune in your chart in Scorpio. So, what this can indicate is that when it comes to the material, your physical security, your resources, there appears to be something rather dissolving about them. Now, what I'm getting from this is the actual impacts on your body. I'm thinking about you experiencing some kind of challenge to do with your body, your physical body, and how those implications naturally can interfere with your finances. I even imagine this as you possibly needing to take out loans, getting into debt, struggling to an extent to pay off significant finances, maybe needing some sort of support from others to help you be able to, well, provide for yourself, to look after yourself. But we do see I suppose you could say the challenges related to your actual body because of this first house influence. And we further notice that Chiron is a part of this, right? So Chiron is in Pisces in the 5th. I am wondering here about implications tied to, could be pregnancy, it could be birth, it could be children. I wonder about potential wounds or scars, possibly in this way. And maybe as well, thinking about you feeling stuck or hopeless or alone. Okay. Yeah. Now, the thing about it too is when we think about this in current times, Saturn and Neptune, well, they're not quite finished yet with Chiron. You've still to some having to face yourself having to face past wounds. And I don't say that to be doom and gloom. If I am to look at this as a way to help guide and to support, I think that this is about reevaluating the relationship that you have with your body, with children, your children possibly, with fun, could even be your sexuality, sexual expression. And I'm also getting from this how those questions are linked to the very relationship you have with a higher power, with God to an extent, because Pisces is about the divine. So, yeah, I would say that there is a much deeper thing going on here. Plus, I'm also going to say that with Saturn and Neptune having just entered your 6th house, you're getting a taste of this influence over the next coming weeks. But I think that you are really beginning to plant new seeds to do with health. So what I'm imagining here is a whole new routine, a whole new schedule, something for you, right? Something that is long lasting for yourself. And hey, with the opposition to Uranus, such a transition could be very jarring, right? It could be a case of people being like, what, you know, why are you doing that? Oh, are you sure? Are you sure? Oh, I don't think you should be doing that. But I think that this stuff, right, about a new health chapter, a new health routine, thinking about even fitness or diet, things like that, I think those themes, they are about you being able to step away and to be independent, maybe having to rebel to an extent. See, what I'm getting from you with all this Virgo, all this Libra, is just how much you've had to be there for everybody else throughout your life, right? How much you've had to give, how much you've had to care for others, to support your children, to support your loved ones. And I think in this way that over the next coming years, especially as your 2nd Saturn return approaches, I think that this is an opportunity for you to check in with yourself and to reconsider what you want when it comes to your everyday routines and habits. Maybe, you know what, it could be a case, Caroline, of your children they've grown up, or they are at a point where they don't need you as much. Could be a case of you're not having to be this caregiver as much, right? But whatever way this is, I think that this is about you looking more so towards your physical activity, the relationship that you have with yourself. Self-care could be a big part of this. And here's the other thing, which is really interesting when we really think about this further. Mars is going to enter Virgo mid-June. And what's coming up for you, Caroline, is your Mars return. So with Mars ruling your 6th house, there's a new cycle. There's a new cycle coming up to do with your health, to do with your everyday habits. And maybe those habits involve friends, involve communities, involve doing something different, right? Maybe exploring other support systems, support groups. That could be a big story, a big theme over the next coming months for you, Caroline. And to then just highlight this Uranus transit, because you did ask about it. Well, this ties in nicely with money because, well, Uranus is going to come onto that axis of your resources versus other people's resources. So Uranus is going to just give you the dates, but Uranus will enter Gemini July time for a few months. So you're about to get a taster, right? This taster to do with disruptive changes. And those disruptive changes are going to be tied to shared accounts, joint resources. This could also be a case of you maybe looking into multiple streams of income. It could be about you wanting to pay off certain debts. It could be a case of you taking out a certain loan so that you can maybe change a few things so there's maybe even more freedom in your life. Plus, the actual ruler of your second house, Jupiter, is gearing up to enter Cancer on the 9th of June for the next year. So maybe this could be a case of you saving up for a new travel experience, or this could be a case of family helping you being supported by family. Maybe it's siblings that support you, or you want to travel with your siblings. There is, I think, a few different changes coming up, which may, I think it's what I'm getting from this is sort of clearing the air, clearing space, and being invited, being open to something quite new and exciting and liberating when it comes to your finances. And that could literally involve you, could be about going on a trip, could be about joining a certain course, a new program, or this could even be a change that happens within your partnerships, such as your partner's money changing unexpectedly. But we also want to remember, with the unexpected tied to Uranus, it can be very unpredictable. I would go on, Caroline, but I got to stop here. But thank you very much. Thank you kindly for booking. If you're interested in booking a full session with me, you can do so by going to hannahselsewhere.com. Thank you again. Okay, let's see. Rachel, let me just take a moment to read through what you've said here, Rachel. So I'm going to be quite quiet a moment. Okay, yeah. Okay. 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 Well, I'm just going to put in your information then, Rachel. And of course, my intention is to help guide. That is my intention. Let's see. Thank you. And thank you, Caroline. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Which one? Oh, okay. I need to do that again. G-A. Yeah, it was that one. Yeah, okay. So this is Rachel's reading. If I just get this information. We'll go here. Just getting timing techniques, getting set up. Yep. And okay. That is first house. First house? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, just give me a moment. I need to look over your chart. I'm actually just having some water here. Oh, I dropped my crystal. It's okay. I'll get it. Let me just get my crystal in. I don't know where it's gone. Oh, it'll show up. It'll show up. It'll be somewhere. Okay. Okay, Rachel, let me just read through. I need a minute to properly read this, and then look at your chart at the same time. Guidance. Transits. Okay, well, I would like to say to begin that essentially what you have shared, it's not something that I am a professional within, and I don't want to claim that I am. And I also don't want to give sort of advice from a place of no knowledge related to what you shared, okay? However, what I can do is I can show support using the chart as a tool, right? Just as a tool, because I'm not a professional within those other areas. What I'm going to say then is, Rachel, this year, you're in a first house year. And we notice that the North Node and Uranus are both in Scorpio. So we see these flashes of insight. We see the revelations. We also notice shocks, right? Things coming to the surface. What was buried, what was hidden or repressed, right? The hidden stuff coming up. So in this way, we could look at this as a year of remarkable insight and change for you, especially when we think about your body, your appearance, when we also think about your sexuality, intimacy, emotional bonding. So to think of this through a more supportive and positive lens, I would say that this is about seeing that there are changes that are going to happen and occur, and to not judge, to not shame yourself, Because I'm sure when it comes to the matters that you shared, you have people within your life who are professional, who know exactly how to support you through what you're going through. And we could also look at this as so much to learn then from yourself, right? From maybe a new found awareness, right? Greater self-awareness, basically. Maybe also greater self-acceptance, because Uranus is so much about our quirks, right? What makes us unique, what makes us different, what makes us stand out from the crowd. And so in this way, this is a year where it's almost like this is the path. This is the path. It's sort of saying, value who you are, be okay with being you, this kind of thing. But equally, if there's anything that you're not sure about, then I think that well, to me, you're on the right path, because you're able to reach out to people who may be able to assist you, right? To reach out and to ask for other people's perspectives too. With the same token, I can also see that what is opposing this influence is Chiron, right? So Chiron is also opposite Uranus. It's pretty close to the South Node as well. So we also see then maybe these triggers to do with comfort, to do with security, and familiarity. And those are the very themes that are equally being activated throughout this first house year for you. But I think equally, this is about being able to check in with your significant other, with your spouse, to also recognize how they must be feeling as well, right? Because the way I sort of see it with the seventh house and just relationships in general, it's important to recognize that what makes a relationship is two or more people. And so maybe this is where the value comes in related to your significant other. And then also, I'm going to say Venus has recently entered Taurus. So Venus right now is in Taurus, will be there for a couple of weeks, but especially right now, right? And even over the next couple of days, week or so, well, Venus is very close to Chiron and opposing Uranus. Meaning what? Meaning we can see these disruptions, we can see the jarring moments, the back and forth, the me versus you, perhaps even inner turmoil, right? Because this stuff doesn't necessarily have to be like outwardly present. This could also be more of a psychological thing that's happening within you. And I think that that is really what's going on with you, given what you shared. Okay. So maybe with Venus, we got to remember what Venus is about. So if I am to help guide you through this, to use the birth chart as a tool to help guide you, I would say that Venus is so much about our connection to our body, self-love, self-worth. And in Taurus, there's such a holding influence, right? There's this groundedness, this presence, this patience, this intention. So even though it may feel a bit like, oh my gosh, there's just a lot happening and it's like a whirlwind of emotion and you're going through it, and I can empathize in this way. How can you lean in to the presence of Venus and sort of say in so many words, hold me? Like how can you sit and be still and try and release and let go of the shame. Let go of the judgment. Because I think what's coming through here is it it's more of the punishing yourself is what I'm getting from your message. It's more of the, oh my gosh, all of this is happening and it's so crazy and it's wild and I don't know what to do. And it's like, okay, and it is of course validating those emotions, but I think it's also about being able to ground yourself, to think practically how you can ground yourself. Even with your Virgo, right? The sun is in Virgo, the moon even is in Pisces, right? The sun in Virgo says that you can be quite critical of yourself. If something doesn't fully align, there could be some challenges here to do with perfectionism, for instance. And then even involved in that is a bit of Neptune, and there's kind of that uncertainty, or there can be that feeling of you being disconnected from yourself. And then also with the moon involved, it can just feel like this existential crisis, like, oh, what's this all mean? What is this for? Why am I here? So what I'm getting at here is I can empathize with those chaotic feelings, right? So like I said, to help guide, to help support, and I'm really trying to focus in on this question. The support and the guidance here comes through others, and I'm really thinking about your spouse and the support from your spouse and the conversations that can be had there, and what insights can come through that effective communication, or just by speaking up, by sharing. Let me see here. Sorry, Rachel, let me just see here. I hope that was okay for you, Rachel. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Rachel. Yeah. Well, you know, there's just, I have to say, there's just some things when it comes to astrology that I'm not qualified within. So it just depends on the question, but I hope I was able to support. Yeah, you're sharing. That's good. That's good. Well, Rachel, thank you very much for your question, and I hope that the reading was helpful. Okay, thank you. Let me just try and find my crystal a second. And if anybody else wants to book, that was a deep one, folks. That was deep. I mean, come on, Scorpio risings. I mean, got a couple of Scorpio risings there. Sorry, 2 seconds. I need to find my crystal. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. I find it. I find it, folks. I find it. Oh dear, I found it. Okay. Now, if anybody else would like to book, the instructions are down below. But I'm just going to chill until someone else does. It's nice to have a break sometime. Like I said at the very beginning of this session, I said that my ears are very sore because my hearing. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, Stacy. Let me see. Let me have a look. I haven't really been checking the coffee one. Let me see. Thanks, Stacy, and I'm sorry if I didn't notice. Where are you? Maybe it's just taking a second to come through. It could be that. It could be that. And to Stephen, thank you so much, Stephen. Stacy, you bought coffees, but I don't see your name popping up on my system. On my system. I don't know. Let me see. It could just be that it needs a second to post, to update. Could be that. Mm-mm-mm. Well, whilst that's probably loading or coming through, I'm just gonna go to the restroom. I'm not American, but I just say restroom. But I'll just be 2 seconds, okay? I'm gonna mute this, and then maybe by the time I come back, the payment will have went through, Stacy. And I do apologize if there's any delays for the delays. Okay, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Okay, I am back. I am back. Right, let's see. So, Stacey, you said that you bought coffees. Try okay. No problem. Oh dear. Well, I'm sorry if there's any issues. I do apologize. Um okay. Great. We're back. We're back. We're back, baby. We're back. Okay. So yeah, if anybody else would like to book in, you can do so. The instructions are down below. But you know what? If nobody else wants to, that's okay too, because it means I can wrap this up and get going. Yeah. Yes, it is. Sha Zab Jabba Juju. Yes, it is. It is. My partner. My partner painted all of those. I could have pretended like it was me, but it wasn't. Ah, so I'm assuming you like Warhammer. Yeah, it seems to be that a lot of people are really, really into Warhammer. Yeah, my partner loves it. He's very talented as well. Very, very talented, I would say. Ah, okay. Bum, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. It could see. I'm not sure, like, why it wouldn't be working for you, Stacey. Maybe it could be the payment options or something on your end. I'm not sure. But Warhammer and astrology are a good combo. So I'm assuming that do you paint? Do you paint yourself or do you just play the game? Because I know some Warhammer fans, they like to play, and then others they paint, and then others they do a combination of the two. How long did it take me to get familiar with reading horoscopes and answering questions? Oh my goodness. How long did it take me? Well, I mean, I was studying astrology. I have been studying it for 9 years. So I started in 2016, and I first started going live readings, questions, things like that 2 years ago. So that was 7 years. And I do remember saying to myself when it came to astrology, was I want to give this 7 years, at least 7 years, to try to learn this. So yeah, now it's been 9, and I've got to say it was very scary, especially at the beginning. Going live, I still get a bit nervous about it, but especially at the beginning, I was really, really nervous about it. Yeah, it's just a case of, I guess, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it, and I think a big part of it too is just trying to look at each chart as a unique chart. You know, every chart is different, every chart is unique. No chart is like exactly the same. Well, I mean, obviously if there's twins or whatever involved, but it's still looking at each person or each chart as an individual. Uh, Let me see. Stacy, you are trying again. No problem. Take your time. And let me see. You said you're mostly a painter, but you don't do a lot of playing now. So you paint yourself. Fun, fun. Yeah. Uh-huh. You just buy whatever. Let me see. Pratam, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So the way you book, the instructions are down below. You can go through the PayPal link. These are mini readings, $25 per reading. And then I need your date of birth, time of birth, and your place of birth. And then if you have a question, you can ask a question. But yeah, so if anybody else has any other thoughts, even if you just want to ask me something that's not astrology related, that's fine too, because I can always do with just talking between readings. I'm good with that. Let me see. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, let's see. Yeah, twin. Yeah. Yeah, twin charts. Me and don't know why I can't speak. Sorry. Me and my friends were talking about that the other day. How often? So it depends. Usually about once a month. Amazing, Stacy. Got ya. Got ya. Amazing. Right. Thank you very much. Now, do you have? Because I need your info. I need the dates. I need your time of birth, your place of birth, and your date of birth. And if you have a question, before you put that in the chat, you can always just email me that information. It just depends. Some people are a bit iffy, a bit with all that stuff on the internet. You can always email me just at hannahselsewhere@outlook.com, or you can put it in the chat. Completely up to you. Honestly, I've shared my date of birth and my time of birth. Doesn't really bother me, but a lot of people are a bit weird about it, so just wanted to say. Right, okay. You have sent it. Amazing. Let's see. Just give me a moment. I need to enter in your birth information. Thank you for picking. Just whatever I say. Okay. No problem. Jun J. Let me see. June. There it is. Boom. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Just needing to prepare, getting everything organized. Stacy. Oh. Okay. Okay. Just getting timing techniques, all that good stuff. Ooh, it's going to be your birthday soon. Oh, you were born the first day of Cancer season, Stacy. Very cool, very cool. Okay. Let's see. Five. Okay, yeah, 12th house. Okay. Let's have a look. Mm-hmm. All right, Stacy. I'm just going to take my time, slow it down. And what I'm going to do is begin by saying that the ascendant is in Scorpio along with Neptune. So, right off the bat, what I see here is that you are someone who possesses so much depth. You don't do superficial. And you perhaps have also led a life that has involved, could be addiction, and not necessarily saying you being the addict, but those themes being a part, right, playing a role within your life. So addiction, loss, a lot of grief. And I'm even thinking about this whenever you were younger, separation, and also perhaps often battling with your inner faith, or battling with the relationship you have with a higher power. See, what we also notice is that Chiron is in Pisces along with Saturn there. And this can indicate some kind of repression or restriction to do with your faith. What's coming through here to a large extent is you breaking free from particular confinements. What's coming through here is especially confinements tied to religion. Okay, faith. I imagine this as you being raised within could be a very religious household, or it could be a case of you strongly just following your own path and coming to terms with your own moral compass, which hasn't been easy. And I also see this as you possessing this inner struggle, right? This inner turmoil tied to those very beliefs. But overall, I think that when we consider how the midheaven is up there in Virgo with Uranus and Pluto, right? The midheaven is so much about our life's trajectory. It's like who we become later on in life. And with you being the age you are now, I think that you are someone who is very much about your freedom, very much about your independence, liberation, breaking free from old paradigms. And what we also then see is that you're finishing up your second Saturn return. You're finishing that up. So what can this suggest? Well, it can certainly suggest that older wounds have been reopened largely for you over the past, I would say, 6 months or so. Could be a bit longer than that. But there is something here about going back into those wounds. Or it could even be a case of you reframing how you identify with said wounds, right? So when we think again about more of the spiritual themes, those religious themes, but then I think those spiritual and religious themes are tied to, could be your sexual expression, it could be love and romance. So the way I imagine this is that your second Saturn return has been an opportunity for you to go into past relationships, past commitments, past loyalties. And what's going to further occur is Saturn is going to retrograde throughout the summer and it's going to dip back into Pisces right on Saturn, right? So again, another hit of your second Saturn return. So what does this mean? This means that for the other half of 2025, you're going to take an even closer look at anything that you've been blinded to, you've been unsure about, you've been kind of confused about. So looking possibly at past romantic relationships. It could even be about revisiting the relationship or relationships you have with your children. If there are any cracks there, anything that you have been concerned about there, any challenging points there, you're going to go back in and you're going to take a lot of wisdom from those experiences, emotional wisdom. And I think that that's a big part of what this Saturn return has been offering you. It's an opportunity for you to maybe connect possibly with your pain in a different way. But it's also about the knowledge that you learn, that you gain from this journey. So when I further explore this and I think about this even more deeply, I think about play. I think about pleasure, actually. Pleasure. The fifth house is so much about pleasure. It's so much about our interests and our passions. So with those planets there in the fifth, I wonder about the denial of those things, the covering up, the secrecy, the deception. the control, right? So I think that this is a Saturn return that's really opening you up to a whole new way of connecting with pleasure. Yeah, it's I see this as a very deep thing, honestly. Yeah, and this is the other thing. Such lessons, I think, are very much tied to your very life's trajectory. Because if you notice that the North Node is in Taurus, so is Venus, they're a part of this story. So, this, for example, is about loyalty and commitment within relationships. This is about pleasure and closeness within relationships. This is about feeling safe, feeling connected on a deeper level. I think this is about being honest and being open about how you feel, to be a reliable partner, but also with the second Saturn return, right, with that other hit, maybe this has been a time where any sort of concerns or issues within relationships, those things are coming up, right? They're coming up to the surface and they're asking you to take a closer look. We've even noticed that Uranus over the past recent years has aligned with that Venus North Node influence. So I'm thinking about any jarring changes, any disruptions within your relationships, within your one-to-one partnerships. Now, with that being said, Uranus is going to enter into your 8th house. So Uranus will enter your 8th house July time, right? Will be there for a number of weeks. So during the summertime, we could see maybe some beginning stages to do with shared accounts and resources. Could be a case of having to readjust a few matters there, having to adapt to significant changes, possibly regarding your partner's money or regarding any debts or repayments, things like that. Hey, you know what? Another way to look at this is that intimacy itself could take on a whole new look, a whole new expression, right? So I'm also visualizing to an extent here you switching things up so that you can experience this greater closeness and experiencing that greater intimacy with another. Maybe truth comes into this, right? Being truthful, being honest with your spouse, for instance. But hey, you know what? This could also be a case of your own personal spending, your own personal resources changing to a large extent. Now, I also want to mention further that Jupiter is going to enter Cancer on the 9th of June. So Jupiter will be in Cancer from the 9th of June for the next year. And what will happen about halfway through the year is your Jupiter return will occur. Right. This is a whole new 12-year cycle for you, tied to, could be a case of traveling. It could be a case of trying things outside of your comfort zone. It could be a case of new family opportunities. Perhaps also it's about how you express yourself, how you share, how you shine within your family, or when it comes to, the people that are very close to you. It could be going on a significant trip with your family or to see family. Those kinds of things could be on the cards for you this year. And I do see this as you being quite a family orientated person, given the fact that your sun is in Cancer, Jupiter is there, Mercury is there, right? I see this as you even possibly relocating at some point throughout your life, or it could be a case of your family and your children, they go to different parts of the world, and then you have that opportunity to go and visit them. So basically, all in all, I'm going to say this, Stacy, that with Jupiter entering Cancer, and then for the next year, we could see some exciting growth, right? Exciting changes occur when it comes to you really broadening your horizons and just being open, right? Open to new opportunities that involve closeness and receptivity. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say for your reading. But but there's more I could say. There's more I could say, but that is everything for this particular reading. Okay, Stacy, let me see. Oh, oh, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Nope. Uh-huh, uh-huh. You want to move one side, well, not space. So, okay, there's family issues happening for you right now. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much for sharing. And like I said, if anyone is interested in a full reading, you can always go to hannahselsewhere.com. And yeah, Saturn, that is true. I mean, Saturn can show up as either never having children or literally choosing not to have children, or it can manifest as having children later on in life. And I suppose as well with Chiron involved, there could be some sensitive spots there too. So I want to be sensitive to that matter as well. But yeah, so if anybody else is wanting to book, you can, but maybe I'm going to call it a day because it's now 7. Thank you so much, Stacy. I hope it was somewhat helpful. Yeah, there's only so much time I have in one little sitting, but it's always good. It's always good to read charts and to see how I can help in any way. And I wish you the best during your second Saturn return. I mean, it's still, you've got another hit coming up very, very soon. Right. So if nobody else is wanting to book for this one, I might leave it there. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. I think I will. I think I will, Stacey. Yeah. Okay then, folks. I'm gonna stop here then, and we'll see if I come back on next week or whatever works out. But I do appreciate you booking with me this evening. I hope that the sessions have been somewhat helpful. Let me see. Placeholder. When will I do it next? Mm, um, Maybe next weekend. We could go for next weekend if that works. If that suits you, I can go for next weekend. I could do a Sunday or a Saturday. Yeah. But sure, I will post beforehand and then you'll know. You can just make sure to subscribe and then it'll turn up on the subscription section. Yes, thank you so much, Stacy, and thank you, Rachel, as well. Thank you, everybody who booked. Haha, yeah, I hope it was somewhat helpful, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Thank you very much, Caroline. Have